Hey folks, how we doing? This session of the Minnesota Senate Committee on Agriculture, Veterans, Broadband, and Rural Development for Wednesday, February 25th is now in session, and a quorum is present, and so are you. Happy Dairy Day. It's great to see so many people here today. We do have a very full agenda today, and we'd like to hear from lots of our friends. Folks, because of the fullness of the agenda, I'm going to ask everyone who is testifying to please endeavor to be efficient in your testimony. We're looking at perhaps a 3-minute limit, if that works for folks, by and large. And if you violate that, Keely will be very angry with you. So she is the enforcer today. So if you have to look up. Keely, could you practice your mean look for us all, please?
I'm just going to have a sound.
A sound?
Yeah, I'm going to go for a sound.
Can we all hear the sound then? Okay. That's the please be expeditious sound when you hear it, if you would, please. So today we're going to start with the Dairy Day at the Capitol presentation. Then we have a bill that is also dairy related from Senator Kupec. Then we're going to hear from our friends at Forever Green and Continuous Living Cover. And then Senator Westrom has 2 bills, one about milk, one about rotational grazing. And then we'll conclude the day with a conversation with our friends from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency on some issues that are relevant to dairy. So to start us off, please, Dairy Day at the Capitol. We are so lucky to get to spend some time with the Minnesota Milk Producers of the Year. And our friends from Minnesota Milk will help us learn more about them. So if we could please, Mr. Sjostrom and all of your entourage, if you guys would please take the space. Hey, Gary. And state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready, please.
Good afternoon, Chair and committee members. My name is Garrett Luthens. I am the president of Minnesota Milk, and also we operate Skyview Dairy out in Hutchinson. It is a privilege to be here with you today to talk about Minnesota's rural economy of dairy. If you look at the dairy deliverables that we gave you as the data provided, referencing International Dairy Foods Association, right now the dairy sector is driving $27 billion in total economic impact across our state. That is a 5.4% of Minnesota's entire GDP. Beyond the dollars, it's about the people. The dairy sector supports 88,000 total jobs. From the 24,000 people working directly on the farms and in the milk processing plants, to the 63,000 indirect jobs in transportation, veterinary services, and the construction that relies on us. Every time a cow is milked in Minnesota, it does create a ripple effect that does put wages in people's pockets, that does put food on the table. Also, I want to touch briefly on the beef economy because the two are inseparable. The current strength in the beef market has been a crucial stabilizer for many of our dairy producers. The value of the beef is keeping many dairy farms cash flow positive during the volatile milk price cycles. It is a reminder that agriculture is not just silos, it's an ecosystem. Looking forward, we are just not preserving what we have, we are building the next generation. That is why we're excited about the Dairy with an Eye program. This program is more than just a safety net, it's a launch pad. It gives a new beginning farmer a risk management tool that they need to survive for now and in the future. We have talent in this room today amongst the dairy farmers and staff, and to dive deeper into the specific policy levers we need to pull to keep these numbers trending up. And I'm going to hand it over to Lucas, our executive director.
Mr. Luthens and Mr. Sjostrom, just a quick point of clarification. You are not subject to the 3-minute rule. Just so you know. You are, Lucas is, but no one else is subject to the 3-minute rule. The 3-minute rule is just for those presenting on bills. We don't want to in any way limit our appreciation of dairy or our opportunity to celebrate the Buck family. So please still be efficient, much more efficient than I am being now. But the 3-minute limit is just for the bill presentations. Testifiers, please. Thanks. So feel free. Please commence, Mr. Sjostrom.
Mr. Chair and committee members, over the next 3 hours and 3 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about the dairy industry. No, I have I'll be quite brief, but I'll talk about the dairy industry in general, and I think I've been asked to come back up here on bills unless you want me to comment. Okay, I'll comment on the industry overall first, and we'll have the presentation via video, and then you can talk to the Buck family, and then I'll come back up on bills if that's okay to proceed that way. Mr. Chair, thank you. So I have the privilege of serving as Executive Director of the Minnesota Milk Producers Association. I'm also a dairy farmer and part owner of a creamery and part owner of a co-op here in Minnesota. So Garrett just gave you the 30,000-foot view, and I just want to reiterate, 88,000 jobs, 5.4% of the state's GDP, and a $27.23 billion economic footprint. I mean, that's pretty substantial. And one of the reasons for that is because we do it all here. Because of how dairy is situated, you typically need to grow the crops, or the vast majority of your crops, next to the farm, and you need the processing to be relatively close to the farm and farms that you're serving. So we're very unique in that. At its core, the dairy industry provides value-added agriculture. With no offense to our other commodity group friends, we add value to them. That's the corn and the soybeans and the land that we share. I do want to share, Mr. Chair, that there are, I believe, ice cream treats behind you, next to you even, all right? We had them confiscated on the House side, but we are resourceful, and we have wrestled them back from security, and they are still safe to eat, thanks to our Department of Agriculture friends for regulating the safety of our dairy products. So I'm not going to go on and on. I'm going to turn over to the video. Garrett and I do want to be here in case there's some overall industry questions before the video, so we can answer any general dairy policy questions, and then I'll testify on the bills as they come forward. So the only other thing I want to say is it's just such a pleasure to work for dairy farmers. We're a very bipartisan group. I think you find many of our members on school boards, on our soil water conservation district boards, many other boards in the community, because when you put down what's typically concrete, or even set up your grazing fences to make a dairy in Minnesota today, that's not a 5-year plan or a 10-year plan. That's a 40 to 70-year commitment. That's 1 or 2 generations. Nobody's making a dairy farm from scratch and saying, we're going to be around for a few years. That's generational or multi-generational. So that's why I think you find so many dairy farmers and other farmers, but especially dairy farmers on a lot of our community boards and activities. So I'll pause with that if there's any questions. Otherwise, we can start the video. Thank you so much for the time, Mr. Chair and committee.
Hi, I'm Dave Buck. My wife Ann and I farm near Goodhue. We moved here in 1991 after farming with our family for 15 years.
We bought this farm. A neighbor came to us and offered his farm to us, so we were very thankful for that.
Well, I grew up on a dairy farm. I went to 1 year of college, and then my father got killed in a farm accident. I came home and dairy farmed full-time then.
Yeah, we have 6 children, and we have 25 grandchildren that come and help out periodically. The kids were active in the farm growing up, and now the grandkids are also helping out when they can.
You know, we've always been changing. It seems like every year we were adding a little something or other, but we gradually expanded the herd to 1,000 by growing 100 or 200 cows at a time. Currently, we are in probably by far our biggest project is building a rotary parlor and adding about 400 cows. So we're in the middle of a big project right now.
And we never thought we would grow like we have. Equipment wears out. Our parlor was 50 years old, so we had to make a decision going forward.
We have numerous guys who have been working here for more than 10 years, and some over 20 years.
We try to treat our employees almost like another family member.
It's really easy to get guys to show up to drive tractor when you tell them that the famous Ann Buck lunch will come out about 3 o'clock.
You know, I think the future of our farm will be wherever the next generation takes it. I feel good about the spot they're in, and very happy that it is ongoing, that they wanted to come back and take on that challenge.
Dad's big thing was, if you're coming home, what do you bring to the table? And that's how we ended up with a custom manure business and doing steers as well. So I don't think it's just a dairy thing. It could be other things as well, but whatever we're doing, we need to do the best job we can at it.
I think we need to continue what our parents have started and keep growing, and that's one thing I've learned from them is you always got to look for ways to improve, and I think that's the challenge for him and I is to keep improving and keep getting better and keep their legacy alive.
We are blessed that we get to see our parents every single day and live so close to them, and our kids get to hang out with their grandparents all the time. Not many people in our generation get that privilege.
I started out as a school teacher and coaching sports.
I worked in the radio industry for a few years out of high school and college.
We were very happy that they came back, but we're very happy that they also, after high school, left the farm and did something else because it just gives them more perspective.
Most farmers that are watching this video understand that transitioning doesn't happen. It's an ever-evolving thing that honestly probably never ends, because by the time you get transitioned to the one generation, you're working on the next one.
Farmers are notorious for kind of putting things off sometimes, and it's one of those things you shouldn't put off. You really need to, if you're thinking about it, it means you should probably already be doing it.
I think around here, everyone's patient with it. Everyone's happy with how it's gone. Mom and Dad have been very open about it, and that's been very important.
I was on the school board for 12 years and involved with dairy promotion, trying to get the milk machine in our schools. I was on the wellness committee there too.
I think just getting our message out to the public is still going forward going to be one of our most important things and probably one of our biggest challenges.
I just think dairy milk, dairy products are essential in our diet. Dairy is it. It's just a good product.
I've been on various dairy boards most of my working career, I guess, from township to DHIA, creamery boards, and then Minnesota Milk Board, where I eventually was chairman. I found them all rewarding, and one of the most rewarding aspects of Minnesota Milk was just getting to see other dairy farmers and learn about them and their operations.
I currently serve on the Egg Partners Board of Directors, local insurance company board, and then I also am on the Goodhue County Planning and Zoning Commission. It's been very good learning about all the rules, regulations, and having a voice on that board that is a farmer that can help fight for farmers.
I think that I gave back to the industry over my lifetime. Again, I kind of stress that to our children too, to give back, because we've gotten so much from it.
Thank you for that video. The Buck family, would you like to come up, and can we all just show our appreciation real quick? Obviously, we know you now because you're movie stars, but you still, if you would, please state your full name for the record, just so we know who we're talking to, and the record does. We're welcome to hear from you if there's anything else you'd like to add to that, or members, if you have questions or comments that you would like to address to the Buck family, feel free. So, folks, you guys got anything that you'd like to share with us?
Mr. Chairman, I'm Ann Buck, Bucks Unlimited.
I am David Buck. Mr. Chair and Committee, I am also David Buck. I was named after him because I'm the favorite.
Mr. Chair, I am Chris Buck, the oldest, smartest, and best looking.
Thank you for having us today.
It's an honor to have you here. It really is. Members, do you have questions, comments that you'd like to share with the Buck family? Senator Gustafson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to say thank you. I think the video is really well done. A lot of us are here because while we might not be current farmers, we either represent farmers or we come from a family of farmers. I grew up in central Minnesota in a pretty small town, which, as you know, is a pretty heavy agricultural area. And so worked and helped out a little bit on my friends' farms, and my grandparents were farmers. I know how hard of work it is. And it was funny, I also was in radio for a long time, and I also was a teacher for a long time, and then left to another career, but you guys took a more noble, or at least you get to hang out with your parents and have fun during the day. Not that hanging out with all of you isn't a wonderful time, but anyways, I just wanted to say thank you. And it's nice when we can do that face-to-face, and so that you know that we mean it, and it isn't just something that we say, that we actually do really appreciate everything that you do for our state and for our communities, and just thank you for being here.
Senator Dames.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair, and congratulations to the Buck family. Certainly appreciate all you do for agriculture and for the dairy industry. Thank you for your participation in your communities, and you represent the dairy industry very well, and thank you very much for what you've done and will continue to do.
Thank you, Senator Dames. Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, I concur. Congratulations to the Buck family. Question, whichever one of you want to answer it, but maybe David should answer this. You can pick which one. A couple of comments. Parlor, 50 years. That tells me you were pretty innovative, because that would put you back at about 1975 with a parlor, and I don't think there was that many parlors in that dairy era. I grew up on a dairy farm in the late 70s and 80s. We didn't have a parlor, so you were very cutting edge, if I'm correct in my years. So I'd just be interested in your comments on that. But what has been the most rewarding over the years, and then maybe what has been most frustrating, or some of the changes you've seen that have been difficult to deal with?
Mr. Buck.
I think, thank you for the question. I think frustration is possibly dealing with state agencies, you know. The rewarding stuff is just being your own boss and doing what you want and what you think is right. You know, there's regulations that don't make sense maybe from our perspective. I'll bring one up. So we had to go through the process with pollution control, and they're very thorough, as they should be. And you get to a point in the process where we had everything done. T's were crossed, I's were dotted. We were good to go. And then we have to wait 30 days for public comment. And I am told that 1% of the projects get any public comment. So, and a lot of times they'll wait till the end of the comment period, the ones, if it's a controversial project. So I guess what I think could happen is you just shorten that window up to a week. If you've met all the conditions of pollution control, we were ready to put the shovel in the ground and we couldn't. We had to wait a month, and then, you know, then winter comes and it gets frustrating. So I guess that's possibly one of the more frustrating things that we've had to deal with.
The other part of Senator Westrom's question was something that makes you happy. Would you like to share that, perhaps?
Go ahead.
I didn't hear the question.
What makes you happy?
Watching my family take over. Nothing better than that. Just being outside, working with the cows, working the land. It's just, I was born to be a dairy farmer.
Senator Westrom, I'd like to answer that part. We actually were very fortunate that a neighbor came to us and offered us his farm, and the parlor was there, and it was a very nice parlor and facilities. So we were able to bring a few of the cows that we had had from working with his family, and then we were able to buy the farmers, our neighbors, some farm, cows too. So, and then we were close enough to still share machinery with his family. So that's how we kind of got started.
Mr. Chair, if I could expound on her answer too, I forgot about that part, but, so my dad put a parlor in 1973. We had a tie-stall stanchion barn. So we put that in 1973, and of course I was 16 or 17, so you really don't think of your dad as being progressive. He's just dad, you know, and looking back, he was, and the Goodyear area had some fairly progressive dairy farms in that time. So I guess we're just continuing that legacy. So thank you.
Members of the questions or comments for the Buck family? Senator Dornick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for coming. What a great story and how important family is. And I grew up on a dairy farm, and remember as a family, and you had 6 kids, that's how many were in our family, and the chores we had, and just the responsibility and how it really matured me and the responsibilities I had. And I'm sure that, well, I can see what it's done in your family, but if you just share kind of a typical day of, we only milk the cows twice a day. I don't know if you would probably milk them 3 times is more common, but yeah, just share a little bit, kind of a day, what a day looks like on a farm.
Mr. Buck.
Mr. Chair and Senators, my position has evolved over the years. Obviously, when I started out, I did a lot of milking, and then as time was on, we hired some help and continue to grow. So at this time, our parlor is small, small enough where we basically milk around the clock. We just have to, and that's why we're putting in a new parlor. It'll be so much better for the workers and for the cows, quite frankly. So DJ and Chris, DJ has a manure pumping business and kind of helps with the machinery side. Chris handles the beef feedlot, and so yeah, my job and theirs too has evolved over the years. So now it's, for me, is bookwork basically. So, and there's a lot of it.
Maybe one of the best parts about our operation is very few days are similar. It's always a new fire to put out or something different going on that day, and that's what I really enjoy. We're not just glued to a computer for 8 hours every day. You're out doing something different.
Senator Dornick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess I'd like to talk to Grandma about her grandchildren just a little bit, if she wants to just share just a little bit about them. I mean, I think we said 25. How many boys, how many girls, and just the ages, and just a short little information about that. We'd appreciate that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, there's 25, and all the farthest away 4 children are in Minneapolis. We have a daughter in Minneapolis. She's a speech pathologist up there with her family, and the rest are fairly close, so that's really nice. And they, you know, come here. I mean, it seems like there's always somebody coming and going, which is really fun. And they help out with calf chores, and yeah, it's just every day is different, and that's what's so fun, I think, is every day is a different day, and we love what we do. And they just, we've got well, when we moved there, it was a hay field. Well, that became a ball field. I think the previous owners thought we were crazy, but it's like our field of dreams because we love baseball. And there's golf going on. There's all kinds of things happening, so.
Senator Kunish.
I also want to express my appreciation for you and your generational family farming. I actually grew up just across the river from Senator Gustafson. I was on the right side of the river. And have generations of farmers. In fact, one of my sisters married a farmer down in Red Wing and the other in Belchester. So I know that area that you're living in. Oh, sure. I think it's called God's Country. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah. But just really want to say how fascinated I am by generational farming and how when settlers came and settled in these lands, and then it passed from family member to family member, and every generation making really hard choices and really innovative choices in order to afford being a farmer, which is kind of a crazy idea because, you know, you're the folks that are putting our food on the table. And I know that it is forever a struggle for you to be able to afford not only the land, but the taxes, machinery, seeds, fertilizer, all those things that we visit every summer to learn more and more about. And now your sons are stepping up to take over, and maybe they're hoping their children will as well. So my question is, you know, what do you see as the future in farming? I mean, if you have put your life into this, and maybe this is for your sons, but you might have, mom and dad might have some really good thoughts on this too, but what is the future of family farms in Minnesota? And you mentioned one thing to help with the bureaucracy and paperwork of things, but what are some other things that you might say we should put in place for the future?
Thank you, Senator, Mr. Chair. One thing going forward, I just hope that the state of Minnesota is competitive with neighboring states for animal agriculture. I don't want us to permit, regulate, or tax pushing everyone out of Minnesota. Obviously, what we're building right now, we're not going anywhere for quite some time. And I just want to make sure that our area is receptive to animal agriculture. We have neighbors that are always calling, wanting to purchase manure from us, and alfalfa follows animals, and cover crops, and manure application, all are this wonderful cycle for being environmentally friendly, and we're not just importing fertilizers to feed a crop that's going to get exported as well. So just going forward, I would like to make sure that our state just, if we could simplify some of the rules for having animal agriculture. And sometimes it feels like maybe we're getting blamed when we're just maybe a small part of the problem is kind of the major part of a problem. For our farm, one of my dad's favorite quotes is, in 1 year, nothing changes. In 5 years, everything changes. So we'd kind of be lying if we told you, if we knew exactly where we were headed in the future. And maybe that's what's fun with having being a diversified farm. You know, sometimes we consider ourselves just dairy farm when really we are much more than that. We're a crop farm. We have beef. We do all these other things, you know, manure pumping. So it could be anything in the future. And that's what's really exciting about, we don't know exactly where we're going. If one of you want to tell us where we should go, that would help. But that's what I'm looking forward to is what's next. And we have an idea, but we can't say for sure.
Seeing no further questions or comments, you know, Mr. Buck, I think that's a great kind of place for you to end. But one of the things that concerns me is it's not our job to tell us where things are going. And it's not your job either. It's that space in between, which is where things actually matter. So thanks for being here. All of you and your family, thanks for doing all the things you do. One of the things from the video that I found most impressive, Mr. Buck, was your statements about giving back, about serving something larger than just your farm, whether that's your family, whether that's the dairy industry, whether it's Minnesota, whether it's every kid who has drank the milk that you put on the, in the little carton that went to their school. Minnesota thanks you, and I thank you too. So thank you for being here, Buck family.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we still have another person. Now we'd like Emily Mollenhauer to come to the desk, if you will, please, Emily. Please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Emily Mollenhauer, and I am the State Director of Minnesota Dairy Initiative. Our organization is a state grant receiving organization, and our mission is to provide technical and educational support to the dairy community in Minnesota rather than taking political positions. I'm here today to simply offer a practical on-the-ground perspective regarding the risk management concepts that are addressed in Senate File 3832. In the dairy sector, there's a constant reality of fluctuating milk prices, unpredictable weather and feed costs, and farming carries a lot of financial risk. For beginning farmers, this risk is magnified. They're just establishing their operation, and oftentimes they lack the capital reserves that are needed to withstand those storms. Access to robust risk management tools provides a critical financial safety net. It allows new farmers to weather early storms, secure necessary financing from lenders, and make long-term business decisions with confidence. Beyond financial tools, managing risk also means having the right knowledge and the right people to help guide the farm itself. That's where Minnesota Dairy Initiative steps in. Minnesota Dairy Initiative operates by connecting dairy farmers with a dedicated team of professionals. This team often includes farms like veterinarians, lenders, farm business management instructors, nutritionists, so on and so forth. And this team helps these farmers evaluate their operations and plan for the future. For a new farmer, having this technical roadmap is just as crucial as having financial guardrails. It's about building a sustainable, profitable business model from day one. We're incredibly grateful for the broad industry collaboration that makes this grassroots work possible, including the steadfast support of the Minnesota Milk Producers Association. Through partnerships like these, we ensure that when a farmer faces a challenge or wants to modernize their dairy, they aren't doing it alone. Ensuring our next generation has both the financial tools and the on-farm advisory support to mitigate risk is absolutely essential for sustaining the future of Minnesota's dairy industry. Thank you, Mr. Chair and members of the committee, for your time and continued support.
Thank you, Ms. Molnar. And members, you probably noticed that was a bit of an error on the schedule. Ms. Molnar was testifying on the bill we're about to hear rather than the celebration we just had. But we won't forget what you just said. We'll just ask Senator Kupec, please, to take position over there and present the bill. And keep in mind all the brilliant things that Ms. Molnar just said. So Senator Kupec will be presenting Senate File 3832, Eligibility for the Dairy Assistance Investment Relief Initiative Program Modification. Senator Kupec.
Thank you. It's been a while since I sat up here. This is the first bill of the year for me, and it's a good one, so this should be pretty quick, pretty easy. So yes, this is the Dairy Assistance Investment and Relief Initiative, also known as DAIRI with an I. The program provides financial assistance to eligible Minnesota dairy producers enrolled in the Dairy Margin Coverage DMC program through USDA's Farm Agency. And what the DMC program is, that's a voluntary risk management tool for dairy producers. It offers financial assistance when the margin between all milk prices and the average feed cost falls below coverage level chosen by the producer. DAIRI with an I is a state-funded program, provides additional financial support to dairy producers that commit to 6 years of coverage in the DMC program. To be eligible, applicants must be the principal operators of a Minnesota dairy cow operation that produces less than 160,000 hundredweight of milk in 2022 and must have enrolled in 6 years of DMC coverage. And the catch is there, the 2022. So what that means is we have new people now that are enrolling since 2022, new farmers, they cannot. So the bill is a modification, and if you go to page 12 of the bill, it's a couple of simple little lines here. It says that new dairy farms that did not market milk during 2022 or for only a portion of 2022 are now eligible to participate in the program. My folks over at the MDA say the financial cost on this is zero. So that is also a good thing. It's just opening the door basically to new dairy producers to enroll in what has been a widely celebrated and very bipartisan program because like half the committee's on this bill.
Thank you, Senator Kupec. We have one more testifier, Mr. Pedersen? Pedersen, was it? Peterson? Person? If you would please, just state your name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Putnam, and it's, for the record, it's Hunter Peterson. Yep. That's my name, and I have the privilege of serving as the public policy specialist for the Minnesota Farm Bureau Federation. We were founded in 1919. We are a nonpartisan grassroots organization with over 30,000 family farm and ranch members across Minnesota. And thank you for the opportunity to testify in support of Senator Kupec's bill today. Honestly, he stole a lot of what I was going to say. This is a good bill, and the key part of it is that it'll let new dairy farms since 2022 get in the program. My understanding is that there's probably in upwards of about 30 farms that are not eligible right now, so this will correct that, and obviously that's a good thing. We want beginning farmers, we want new dairy farms in Minnesota, and so just want to thank the committee for taking the time to hear the bill. I'd like to thank Senator Kupec for bringing it forward, and appreciate the support.
Thank you for your testimony, Mr. Peterson. It still is kind of fun to see you over there instead of over here. Entertains me a little bit. Members, questions or comments about Senate File 3832? And for your collective understanding, members, our intention is to send this bill on to Finance to make sure that it goes into effect as soon as possible. Seeing no questions, Senator Seeberger moves that Senate File 3830. Final statements from Senator
I'm
Kupec.
good. I'm just saying I could move it too because I'm part of the committee. Which, if you want to give Senator Seeberger a little glory.
Do you not trust her ability to have me move something for her? Senator Seeberger moves Senate File 3832 be passed and referred to the Committee on Finance. All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Senate File 3832 has been passed and referred to the Committee on Finance. Thank you, Senator Kupec. Now, friends, let's hear a little bit about Forever Green and continuous living cover, something that we hear about pretty regularly up here, but it's always great to hear an update and hear about what's new and exciting in this world. So if we could have Dr. Hunter, Mr. Curitin, Mr. Frosch, Mr. Novotny, if you would please come up to the desk. State your full names to the record, commence your testimony when you're ready, please. And thank you again for the snacks.
Yeah, I hope the snacks won't be charged against us in terms of our time for testifying. So I do want to give a brief introduction. We've got General Mills' newly launched line of Kernza cereal from the Cascadian Farm brand. This is their Honey Oat Crunch. So the cereal's coming around, and because it's Dairy Day, we also brought some Minnesota milk to pour on there and some spoons if you're interested. So enjoy some cereal if you'd like. Chair Putnam and members of the committee, my name is Mitch Hunter. I was expecting to see slides up, so maybe while I do my intros, those can be populated. I'm the co-director of the Forever Green Initiative at the University of Minnesota. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today. There are no bills in front of you from this work. We just are here to give you an update on what's been going on since we testified last year. I'm going to be joined by my colleague Colin Curitin, our Director of Commercialization, Adoption, and Scaling. He and I will focus on the outcomes of your state investments in Forever Green, as well as examples of how we have leveraged that investment to bring in additional resources. We're also going to be joined by Peter Frosch, to my right, from the Greater MSP Partnership, who's a key partner in our work to advance winter camelina, as well as Paul Novotny at the other end, a farmer and entrepreneur who has benefited from MDA's Developing Markets for Continuous Living Cover Crops program. That's a key program that complements our work at the university. It's not run by us. It puts money out for small businesses who are working to advance our crops. So great to have the opportunity to hear from Paul. I think we're pretty much caught up now. And yeah, that's the next slide. Thank you. So Peter and Paul, you could go back one to the logos. Peter and Paul are great examples of the partnerships that we cultivate in our work. We've invested for years to develop these partnerships, and you'll hear today some examples of how they're starting to bear fruit. So next slide. I won't go into great detail about Forever Green because I think you know us well. We have testified just 1 year ago. But I want to say really briefly, this is what we do. We develop new crops that can cover the soil all year round. and we call this continuous living cover. So that term will come back. And we're then developing new markets that can drive adoption and create economic opportunity for farmers and for businesses that are using those crops. So on to the next slide. We are not the only ones who think that CLC, continuous living cover agriculture, can be important for Minnesota. So I wanted to highlight that MPCA just released their 2025 nutrient reduction strategy. And their modeling, after a lot of work, shows that continuous living cover is critical to achieve our state's water quality goals, something that almost every Minnesotan values to a high degree. And that's not on its own, right? That's alongside BMP adoption and many other strategies. So that was a nice validation of the importance of this work. I also want to emphasize that our vision is for CLC agriculture to grow in a voluntary and market-driven way, not by regulatory drivers. As you know, we work with over 15 different crops, and we're not going to give a comprehensive update today with a short time, so I just want to quickly give you a reminder of what winter camelina is, because this is going to be kind of our case study today. So next slide. Winter camelina is a winter hardy annual oilseed. It can fit into our current rotation, so for instance, between small grains and soybeans. And right now it's in a pilot phase of deployment across the region, about 5,000 acres that are out there primarily in partnership with Cargill. There's broad benefits. Again, it covers the soil over the winter. That improves our soil, improves our water quality. It also feeds pollinators. And it produces oil for low carbon fuels, which is a very rapidly growing market that Peter Frosch will speak to in a little bit. So that's a new market for farmers. And really, this is a potential major new industry for the state on multiple levels, not just agriculture. So we'll come back to that. Now I'm going to focus on specific investments and outcomes. And we are super grateful for your support of us directly through AGREET. It's been very critical for our development. And it's enabled consistent leadership, including Colin's and my roles, as well as providing stable funding for the 4 plant breeders that you see in front of you. And having those brilliant people in place for a long period of time is really essential for their making long-term breeding progress and delivering good cultivars for Minnesota farmers. So in 2024, 2025, just those 2 years, we leveraged that 1.6 million about 7 times over by bringing in additional private and other state dollars. We also secured a $12.5 million federal grant that would have been yet more leverage. That's been on hold for over a year. That would have advanced our work on winter camelina as well as pennycress. And I think that just highlights that federal funding is pretty uncertain right now, and the state funding becomes all the more critical in that context. So next slide. Over time, over the last decade or so, we've gotten a lot of support from the Clean Water Council, LCCMR, and we've got some really great things to show for it. We've built over 15 different multidisciplinary crop development teams. We've supported 65 graduate students, which when I saw that number, my eyes popped. I was surprised. That's a lot. We've released 8 crop varieties, including 4 just this last year, and we funded close to 100 research projects. So we've got a really great system for using those resources to drive progress on this work. We've also, on the next slide, again, been able to leverage those state dollars with some really significant federal awards, which just multiplies the impacts of Minnesota tax dollars. Last piece of the story from me, some private leverage. So we've got this multifaceted and very robust partnership with Cargill, primarily focused on advancing winter camelina and pennycress. And there's 2 parts of it. Can't go into many details because I'm trying to keep it brief, but there's a philanthropic gift that's allowing us to advance the basic science, as well as a breeding partnership, working closely with them. And this is allowing us to accelerate our breeding program by over 100x. That directly translates to faster progress and sooner, having better varieties for farmers even sooner. So really grateful to have that partnership, again, an illustration of how some state investment has led to leverage, has led to outcomes. And with that, I will hand it off to Colin.
Thank you, Dr. Hunter, and Mr. Chair and committee members, thank you for your time today. My name is Colin Curitan, and I am Director of Commercialization, Adoption, and Scaling for the University of Minnesota Forever Green Initiative. I will share briefly with you about how Forever Green is responsively and creatively putting public investment to work to advance Forever Green's nationally unique efforts to support farmer adoption and market development of novel CLC crops. Farmer adoption. 5 years ago, with the support of the Clean Water Council, Forever Green launched the Economic and Environmental Clusters of Opportunity, or ECO program, to support farmer adoption of these new crops. ECO combines risk management payments, environmental benefit payments, technical assistance, targeted farmer-led projects, field days, and seed and grain testing services needed to access markets. I am unaware of any other such program in the country. The program currently supports 6 new CLC crops, Kernza perennial grain, winter camelina, hybrid winter rye, winter barley, hazelnuts, and elderberry. The program has been allocated $2.7 million since its inception across 4 rounds of funding. And next slide, the program has supported roughly 9,000 acres of new CLC crops across 200 fields and about 80 unique growers. Growth in recent years is exciting, if you go to the next slide, and signals early traction with Minnesota farmers. We are actively considering ways in which ECO can be scaled up and used as a platform for innovation, bridging to federal grant programs, cross-sector warranty programs, and a bridge to federal crop insurance, which we are working on. Next slide, market development. The state's investment has been leveraged to generate an additional $1.4 million in philanthropic funding from Builders Vision Philanthropy to support our market development work. With this support, we are launching market development programs for companies of different sizes, like major industry players and small and medium-sized enterprises, or SMEs. This week, Forever Green is launching a program focused on sustaining engagement with major industry players, and that program is called the CLC Market Builders Program. Our sustained industry efforts are paying off. Just a few quick examples. In 2025, this is alluded to in the beginning, General Mills launched their 1% Kernza initiative, incorporating a small amount of Kernza perennial grain into 4 of their nationally distributed best-selling cereals. This resulted in significantly increased sales by the Minnesota Farmer Cooperative producing and marketing Kernza. Looking ahead, on May 26th, Forever Green is partnering with the UK-based Innovation Forum to be the official pre-conference tour for the Future of Food and Beverage USA event. Increasingly, Forever Green has the attention of the global food industry. Next slide. The SME program, we see that SMEs have a critical role in driving innovation, especially in the agriculture sector and rural communities. In this program, Forever Green provides funding and consulting style services to help SMEs grow their business goals around new CLC crops and products. The program is currently working with 6 small businesses and is heavily oversubscribed. I think we receive over 20 applications. Okay, in my remaining slides, next slide, I would like to further highlight Forever Green's winter camelina efforts. The Cargill Partnership is at the foundation of these efforts. In addition, we are building the village of cross-sector partnerships, drawing on Minnesota's world-class food, agriculture, energy industries, forward-thinking state agencies, and engaged civil society. Partners like Greater MSP SAF Hub and Embold, AURI, and Compeer are leading on winter camelina meal standards and markets, innovations in crop insurance, and more. Next and last slide. This village is coalescing into an exciting project for Forever Green called the Winter Camelina 1 Million Acre Scaling Study, or OneMass. So once you're so fortunate to have assembled a village around a transformational change project, what does the village do? The sensible way to move forward is to have a plan, a shared plan with cross-sector buy-in from farmers, industry, government, finance, civil society, and researchers. OneMass is the cross-sector project developing this plan for the future scaling pathway of winter camelina. Specifically, the project is asking what actions and investments are needed, when and by whom, to scale winter camelina to the first 1 million acres. OneMass leveraged seed funding from the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency 3 times over from Builders Vision Philanthropy, the McKnight Foundation, and the National Wildlife Federation to launch and staff the project. Thank you for your time today, Chair and committee members, and I would like to now pass the microphone to Peter Frosch, CEO of Greater MSP, to share a little more detail with you about the OneMass project. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Chair, ranking member, members of the committee, my name is Peter Frosch. I'm the CEO of the Greater MSP Partnership. Greater MSP is a public-private partnership of businesses, local governments, universities, and others who are working together to grow the economy of the state and create more opportunity for Minnesotans. We're a 501c3 that works like a co-op, which is appropriate for this committee. The state of Minnesota does not fund Greater MSP, but is a partner in almost all the work that we do. To fulfill that big mission, Greater MSP builds innovative efforts based on existing economic strengths, things that include Minnesota MedTech 3.0 and the Minnesota SAF Hub. Building a SAF economy, or sustainable aviation fuel economy, is part of a broader vision for the future of the state, because it's going to create tens of thousands of new jobs, especially in rural areas, create new revenue for Minnesota farmers, attract billions of dollars of private investment from around the world, and expand the tax base for state and local government. 3 years of hard work by many partners, including those at this table, have proved that Minnesota is a great place to build a SAF economy. And one of the reasons why is that Minnesota has an abundance of different inputs from which SAF can be made, including agricultural waste, forestry waste, biogas from animal agriculture, corn, soybeans, green hydrogen, CO2, and novel crops like winter camelina. The SAF Hub is now working to develop multiple SAF production facilities in different parts of the state that would make SAF from different inputs. That's important because it means that different inputs are not competing with one another for a limited market. We will need them all. And that includes inputs that barely exist today, like cash cover crops, winter camelina. That is a breakthrough solution because it's going to help clean up rivers and lakes and groundwater and boost rural vitality by providing farmers with more income from the same land and dramatically cut carbon from air travel. The Minnesota SAF Hub strategy aims to produce at least 100 million gallons of SAF from winter camelina and other Minnesota-grown cover crops as soon as the supply exists, which we hope it will be in the early 2030s. We know that it works because the first airplane to ever take off from MSP International with SAF was camelina, made from Minnesota-made camelina, the first to ever happen in the world as far as we know it. So now the challenge is how to scale production from a few thousand acres to a few million acres. And that's a demand problem and it's a supply problem. On the demand side, we're working to recruit a SAF refiner to build a facility in Minnesota that could turn camelina into SAF. That private investment would likely be between $500 million and $1 billion and create hundreds of good jobs. I'm actually testifying today because my colleague who runs the SAF Hub is in the United Kingdom working to recruit those producers and that capital to solve that problem, and we are getting close. And keeping progress going on permitting reform at the state is really critical to make sure that we can build those facilities. On the supply side, there are many problems to solve, some of which we don't yet know, and that's why the Million Acre Study was created. Experts like Cargill advised us that once you get to 1 million acres, the market will take it from there, 2, 3, 4, 5 million acres. And as was mentioned, the study aims to create a shared roadmap for farmers and industry and government and researchers. The study will identify the problems that need to be solved and who needs to help solve them. The scaling the crop requires solutions in many areas, including state policy, farm economics, crop insurance, carbon intensity modeling, breeding and agronomy, transportation, and more. The partners in the study include all the entities we expect will be needed to solve those problems, including growers, industry, state agencies, researchers, commodity groups, NGOs, distributors, and others. That roadmap and recommendations for action will be ready by the fall, and we look forward to sharing them with you. Before the work is complete, we know that the state of Minnesota is going to have several roles to play. For example, supporting investment of infrastructure on farms and in the supply chain, and policies that create clear, strong, sustained market signals. We have made huge progress on a problem that everyone in the world is trying to solve. We're getting really close, and we're working with urgency every day, but with a long-term mindset. And what we're talking about today is a solution that could carry us from the 2030s forward, and that's very exciting. Thank you.
This is for you guys to take a look. I'll take it. Mr. Chairman and Senators, I'm Paul Novotny. I'm from Chatfield, Minnesota. I work at my family truck company and storage business, and I also farm 1,700 acres. I've also been on the Chatfield City Council for 20 years, which is where I was introduced to forever green crops more than 10 years ago, when we were studying in our drinking water management area. Since then, I've grown both Kernza and winter camelina, and for the last 5 years, I've focused on camelina for many reasons. First, there's a solid end-user market. It is fall seeded and acts as a cover crop, and it has really strong potential to help diversify my cropping rotation. As a grower, though, I've experienced many things that could go wrong with trying to plant a new crop, something that I've never done before. And as I'm saying something new, as I harvested my first crop, if you're looking at the bags that are going around, the really, really messy one is what I ended up with. And then I realized, okay, well, now I have this big pile of stuff in my combine. Now what? I need it to look like the clean bag. So It didn't take very long. There's a lot of good people working on this, but it didn't take very long. I realized I was all by myself. I'm gonna have to figure it all on my own. And so I wasn't deterred. I kept moving on. So now I have experience, and I've also experienced loss, which I had a total loss and a partial loss in growing camelina, which then brings me to the ECO program and how vital it has been de-risking the growing of these crops for the growers. Because failures sometimes happen as we continue to define the best practices, which is taking years. Winter camelina appears to have a fairly strong end user market, and year over year, more and more growers, as the previous chart shows, are attempting to grow it. But the supply chain, in my opinion, still needs work. 3 things stand out: a cleaning option, a short-term storage option, and possibly a drying option. As most growers, like myself, have setups designed for corn and soybeans and not for this very tiny small seed that we're trying to grow here. And I think that could be a limiting factor in the scaling process as growers have setups to handle traditional row crops. And I can also speak to how the supply chain funding from the MDA grant program is making a difference. A couple years ago, I received a $50,000 grant to put together a cleaning setup and a site in my town in Sheffield. And so I purchased a cleaner that could be turned into a mobile cleaner for $89,000. And then also last fall, I was awarded another grant to upgrade it to be a self-sustained unit that can be pulled anywhere. And that way, it doesn't all have to get trucked to Sheffield. We can go to the site where the cleaning needs to take place. So last summer, the cleaner was utilized by multiple growers, cleaning roughly 400,000 pounds of camelina. And in this January, actually, kind of a last minute thing, we cleaned 50,000 pounds out of Montana. And now, with at least one cleaner available, and if I think some short-term regional storage and drying options become available, I think we can get even more growers to consider planting for evergreen crops when there is a little more post-harvest support in place for when the harvest doesn't go bad, as if you look at the messy bag, or growers don't have the current infrastructure to handle this very small seed. So in closing, I was just looking back. Looking back at the 2 crops I've grown, I started this in 2015 when I first planted Kernza, and it's amazing to see how far that market has grown in a short 10 years. And now winter camelina and its growth potential, and with continued funding, it'll be exciting what the future holds for that crop also. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the presentation, gentlemen. As you know, as at least I hope you know, we're big fans. And so I'm grateful to have a chance to visit with you guys again. And I especially welcome Mr. Frosch, because the connection to SAF is something that we need to have more opportunities to talk about and all the great things that it can do. So that being said, members, questions, comments? Senator Seaberger.
I want to thank you for being here and talking about the wonderful Forever Green program. I am happy to continue to support it, and I'm a big fan of the work. I would like everyone to know I am on the hunt to find products with Kernza in them. And I have found pancake mix in my local grocery store that I have turned other people on to as well. And I had a town hall recently where people came in with big ideas. There's a lot going on in our state right now. And we talked about that a little bit, and I said, you know, let me tell you a little bit about what I work on ag. And it wasn't a conversation they expected to have, but I talked about the Forever Green program, and I talked about Kernza, and by the end of that conversation, people felt happy. And they felt they were surprised because we do other things here at the Capitol other than fight about controversial issues. We do wonderful things like support the Forever Green program. And it was a nice way to remind people that we do a lot of really cool things here. And this is a program I'm really proud of and something that I will always continue to support. So thank you for being here and talking about the wonderful things you do.
Senator Kunish?
This all sounds really excited, and Senator Seaberger, you got me really excited too. But my question is, will there be products that are expected to be exported? and exported internationally. And are you foreseeing an issue with that, especially when it comes to the tariffs? Like, what product would be like the most sought after internationally? And with the ever-changing tariffs and those sort of things, could that sort of backfire on this, really, really positive outlook?
Mr. Curtin, I'm assuming that's probably you, or would you like to take that one?
Sure. Well, thank you for the question, Senator. To briefly respond, we're focused first and foremost on delivering value back to the state of Minnesota and building regional economy around these crops. We don't want to develop them here and export them elsewhere immediately. However, ag economies don't stop at state borders or national borders. And so there's a few relevant factors. We've been involved in helping expand the Kernza market to East Asia and also currently working on opening the European market. A little trip through ag history suggests that sometimes the first major customer of a new commodity is not your neighbor. It's like canola was purchased in large volume by Japan when Canada developed it as an alternative to an oil they were already using. So we see the opportunity for that. Also, the global SAF and renewable fuels market is very relevant for the future of winter camelina. Some of the strong regulatory dynamics in Europe around SAF mandated production, and maybe Mr. Frosch could speak to this, is really driving global production and trade of potential new feedstocks into Europe. We will have to navigate global trade and tariff issues like the entire ag industry, so I'd say we'd be affected, but not necessarily more so or less than other commodities. And if anything, these are newer crops that I think are going to take root at home first before we really focus on massive exports. But over time, we hope that, forever green crops are known all around the world.
Mr. Frosch, did you want to opine?
I think just briefly to the point, Europe has SAF mandates that the United States does not have. They do not have supply, but they have demand. And so to the extent that we in Minnesota can produce SAF that's made from, if we were able to make SAF here in volumes from winter camelina, that would have a major market at a very attractive price in Europe. And it's leading us to have conversations with other parts of the state, like northern Minnesota and the Port of Duluth, where we're having very practical conversations right now about what would it take and how would it look to be shipping large volumes of SAF, through the Great Lakes into Europe.
I'm assuming, Mr. Frosch or Dr. Hunter or anyone actually can handle this, that the work you do is proprietary. So are we in danger of being passed by Iowa in their development of winter camelina, or is our winter camelina access peculiar, special to us because we have developed the plant here, or are we competing with other states for the market that Mr. Frosch just identified?
Thank you for the question, Chair. As Colin alluded to, this work is not going to stop at state borders, and we struggle with that a little bit because, as Colin also said, we're trying to bring value back to Minnesota. And we are very intentionally doing this work in a way that keeps the intellectual property and the ownership of that intellectual property in the public domain with our state university, right? That being said, it's a little bit easier to do some of this work a little further south where the winters aren't quite as harsh, growing season is a little longer. I think that makes it extra important that we're very focused on Minnesota because we need to build the village that can get this done where it's a little harder than it might be. So if you look at some of the big companies, and now there are very big companies out there advancing work on camelina and pennycress and related crops, they're not going to Minnesota first. But we go to Minnesota first and try to make sure that our solutions get deployed here first. That being said, if we develop a great winter camelina variety that works well in Minnesota, if farmers want to grow it in Wisconsin and Iowa and around the region, that probably is going to return some revenue back to our program. So it's all good from that perspective, and it helps build the industry. It helps meet the demand of the airlines and other users. So, we're open to collaboration in that sense, but we always come back to thinking about, are we doing this in a way that will benefit Minnesota?
Thank you. Senator Westrom, I believe you had a question.
Mr. Chair, few just logistical questions. So this is Kernza or camelina, this cereal?
That is Kernza in that cereal.
Kernza, okay. And what was the name of it, you said, and do they sell it around the cities, around the state, and was it General Mills that's doing this? Just kind of those details I'm interested in. Dr. Hunter?
Yes, Chair and Senator Westrom, thank you for the question. So this is a pretty exciting development in the world of Kernza. We've had a longstanding relationship with General Mills. They own the brand Cascadian Farm. It's one of their organic brands. And they put out the original Kernza cereal 6 years ago, something like that. That's been on the shelves in a limited way at Whole Foods, and then a couple years ago expanded a little bit broader than that. But for an experimental product, it's had a long run, and it's done apparently well enough that they've been inspired to broaden that effort. So now they're going beyond that one cereal that was really featuring Kernza very, very heavily. But it was a new product and not something that every one of their consumers is grabbing off the shelf every day. Now they've turned to their 4 most popular cereals. So the one that you have in front of you is Honey Oat Crunch. Sounds a little bit like Honey Bunches of Oats, not an accident, I don't think. They also have a Raisin Bran equivalent, et cetera. So they have these 4 very popular cereals in their Cascadian Farm brand. And they've put 1% Kernza into all of those. And some people scoff and say, why 1% Kernza? That seems like a little bit of a weak commitment. We actually think it's a brilliant strategy. So they've summarized it best, I think, as you put a little in a lot. So you've got high volume products, and you can add a little bit of Kernza to each one of those cereal boxes. It doesn't really change the formulation. They don't have to do a bunch of R&D, and it doesn't hardly change the input costs of their cereal. But for an early and growing market like Kernza, it's actually really substantial. So this one effort, they were already buying, one of the larger buyers of Kernza, and they multiplied their annual purchases by about 4 to be able to serve these additional 4 cereals in their Cascadian Farm line. As far as where it's available, I've seen it around the cities quite a bit, and I don't know how representative that is of the whole state of Minnesota and where you might find it, but it would be probably in a natural and organic section of a grocery store, and I would expect that it's fairly widely distributed at this point.
Just one brief additional comment. It is nationally distributed product.
It is.
Where the Cascadian Farm cereals are sold.
So is the cereal in front of us more of 100% Kernza, or what's the percentage of Kernza in this? Because if I'm understanding you right, this is more of an organic cereal where maybe Raisin Bran or Frosted Flakes is not. It's more of a traditional wheat or oats processing.
Sure.
And I'll just kind of wrap a few questions in together to speed it along, but is there a price difference? Is this more expensive? Is it competitive with the Frosted Flakes? This tastes a lot like a Frosted Flakes with maybe slightly less sugar, but it's still really good. And for us that are more conscious of our sugar as we get older, it seems like a very good product and alternative. So I'm just kind of curious what is holding it back, and then are we just trading Kernza for wheat, or can we kind of advance this cereal and market opportunity, or is price still an issue, and we're you're going to pay 50 cents or $1 more for a box of this than what might be considered traditional cereal? So I'm just kind of curious in all that business case, and how do we keep moving forward, because it's a tasty product.
Mr. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chair, and thank you for the questions. Senator, I'll try to briefly summarize.
Yeah.
So to reiterate what Dr. Hunter mentioned, the strategy for this particular line is a very small inclusion, but nationally distributed in their product base was really significant for the Minnesota-based farmer cooperative that is marketing the product. Over time, we'd love to see them increase that percentage, and we have a number of other companies, including beverage makers and food product makers, that use a much higher ratio. But to have this nationally distributed product, even at a small amount of inclusion, is really significant for the farmers producing the product. To answer some of your other questions, we see significant opportunity to blend Kernza with other grain products, where it will displace some of those grains. In other cases, we'll have primarily Kernza products, growing new market opportunities. On the topic of price, I'll be very clear in that Kernza is still at a very early stage of development. A good analogy is like an early generation solar panel. Really cool idea, but how developed and competitive is it? And that process takes decades, right? To continue breeding the crop, continue improving agronomy, continue increasing the yield. And I would say we're still in the very early stage of that process. And Kernza is definitely a more expensive premium product at the moment. This particular cereal you're eating is an organic brand, so it's organic. Actually, most of the Kernza products on the market are not organic, and they're produced by small and medium-sized companies in communities around the country and around Minnesota that are bringing this exciting ingredient to their customers. And so it is not exclusively an organic or regenerative organic product, but we've seen the national markets pull on that market segment. I think I tackled a few of your questions. I might have missed one or two, but go ahead.
Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, I just try to wrap it up here. Just so is one of the big benefits of Kernza is it's a perennial crop. So if I remember from prior hearings, 3-4 years, you can expect before it kind of fizzles out, a lot like alfalfa, or is that the biggest benefit? Is there some other nutritional benefit that it surpasses maybe the traditional wheat or oats or other breakfast cereals, whether it's organic or not? Just any general information on that, and then that's it for now.
Thank you, Senator and Chair. We have actually learned some really exciting information on the food science of Kernza that hasn't been at the forefront yet, but I'd like to briefly share with you since you asked. But Kernza actually has about 50% more protein per serving than wheat. It also has double the fiber and is very high in a number of micronutrients. So we're learning a lot about the nutritional value. There's a whole, I won't go deep into it, but the connection between soil health and human health, regenerative agriculture. This is a great opportunity to learn more about the health benefits of Kernza. We also have a lot of great makers and food scientists that are making delicious products. So taste, then nutrition, and then stack on the perenniality, the deep root system, soil health, water retention capacity, climate mitigation, et cetera. So we have a more full picture, I would say, of the taste, nutrition, and environmental benefits, where you maybe first heard about Kernza as like, oh, this is great for water quality. Well, it also has a lot of other benefits, and we're working on that marketing and communication story to share just really exciting opportunity that we're still in the early days of, but we're seeing progress.
Members, any other questions? Or Senator Holstrom?
Hey there. My question is for Colin. SAF, sustainable aviation fuel. We're trying to market, it sounds like, to Europe. What is the price difference between that and conventional jet fuel?
Yeah. Thank you, Senator, for the question, and Chair Putnam. And this is maybe a question for Mr. Frosch primarily. But SAF similarly is still a premium product. It uses for winter camelina the HEFA process. And Mr. Frosch, do you want to comment on the pricing differential in conventional and sustainable aviation fuel?
It's roughly twice the price, sometimes more, depending what you make it out of. And so the state tax incentive stacks on top of a federal tax incentive, and then we further buy down the premium with private, corporate, like a demand consortium that we created. So in Minnesota, that's how we're working to get this off the ground with the first 5 million and 10 million gallons. And the market will, like Minneapolis-St. Paul International Airport is kind of our #1 target, but we're finding, as we're working with companies who want to build here, that you can do both at the same time, that they would be selling some of their product, maybe to Delta and others at MSP, and others to other parts of the world.
Follow-up?
Senator Holstrom.
Yes, thank you. So short of additional or new government subsidies, do you think that this can become profitable as is without anything additional, subsidizing it?
Regarding SAF?
You're correct, the winter camelina SAF, yep.
No. This is, SAF generally is an early stage technology, not unlike, wind or solar in the early days. The strategy is to assume that it has to get to cost parity as soon as possible and get off of any subsidy as soon as possible, but there's not any path in the next couple of years as we're trying to launch the industry. And then as we talked about today with winter camelina, that's a step further where we're going to need agronomy investments and, work on farm, over the next several years as we also build up the components of the SAF industry. So.
Thank you. Members, any other final questions? We're needing to expedite a little bit. Anything? Right. Thanks very much, gentlemen. Again, big fans, very excited about this work and eager to support it as best we can. So thank you. Thank you. Coming up next, Senator Westrom, if you would please read here Senate File 3687, National School Lunch Program Participants Milk Offerings Clarification Provision. If I could ask Mr. Sjostrom, Ms. Rudolph, and Mr. Peterson, please, to come to the table as well. Senator Westrom, when you're ready, please.
Mr. Chair, I'll present Senate File 3686, a bill for promoting more rotational grazing opportunities for our farmers.
I'm sorry, Senator Westrom, we're on 3687 first.
87.
So this is the school lunch provision, milk offerings.
Okay, sorry, I read it wrong in the agenda.
I'm sorry about
Mr.
that,
Chair.
Senator Westrom.
Happy to talk about Senate File 3687, members. This bill would bring more choice and opportunities to our students in school that are part of the participating in the federal school lunch program already. It would match the federal legislation that was recently signed with bipartisan support in Washington a couple of months ago. Bringing back more choice and opportunity for students and making it easier for students that want an alternative product as well, similar to the same nutrition as whole milk or a 2% milk, which currently is not allowed to be served in our school districts to the chagrin of many students and parents and dairy farmers. And so this would return it back to the days of when I remember going through school, and if you wanted whole milk, you could have whole milk 2%, and you weren't limited to low-fat or no-fat milks, which are a good opportunity for those that want that choice. This just brings and makes it permissive for schools to offer more choice and more whole milk choices in Minnesota for those students, as well as the idea of if it's a taste they enjoy and like, it will develop more long-term habits of drinking healthy, real milk, and that's the gist behind this legislation, to just have Minnesota mimic and support the idea of more choice and whole milk opportunities for our students and parents and school districts in Minnesota, including flavored milk if they so choose. But again, lastly, as I said, it would also allow parents to sign a note and not require a doctor's note to ask for an alternative, lactose intolerant students or other things like that, which there's almond milk and other types of products in the market that suffice for those nutritional opportunities as well. So that's the idea behind this, bringing more choice to students and those going through our school system in promoting dairy and milk opportunities for all.
Thank you, Senator Westrom. Mr. Sjostrom, if you would please state your full name for the record, commence your testimony when you're ready.
Mr. Chair and members, Lucas Sjostrom, Executive Director of the Minnesota Milk Producers Association. I've been asked by staff to expedite comments, so I'm going to testify on this bill and the next bill and the last bill because I didn't provide any comments on that in my expedition. So first, Mr. Chair, on Senate File 3687, Minnesota Milk has strong support of the Whole Milk in Schools bill. Having flavored choices and whole milk not only warms dairy farmers' hearts, but there's a lot of research on health type 2 diabetes. We're not quite there yet that we can solidify things, but there's lots of evidence with type 2 diabetes, and I think Senator Westrom has cited other research in the past that when you're drinking these higher whole-fat milks, you are also probably helping people do maybe a similar effect to the GLP-1s, that you're getting fuller faster. And so you're taking in fewer overall calories. And I think that's a good thing. Your other calories should also be dairy, but at least the calories from milk could be whole. Further, I'll just say on the economic side, dairy farmers have, due to market demand, raised their average milk fat in the milk just by feeding our cattle differently and breeding our cattle differently from about 3.5% fat to about 4.5% fat in just over 15 years. So we have more fat to give, and we want to give it to the children to help them. And I know we're laughing about this, but fat has been labeled as a bad thing for about 50 years, and the efforts of the federal government and through this bill are really important to turn that back. Briefly, 3686, Mr. Chair, I'll testify that Minnesota Milk's in strong support of the grazing initiative. We want options for dairy farmers environmentally, socially. There's different things you can do and different markets that affect grazing. And so more support for that is great to see. And then back, Mr. Chair, on the Dairy with an I bill, I didn't get a chance to say we strongly support it. We're happy to help you and others create it in the legislature. Thanks to Senator Kupec for helping us get new farmers into it. But I do want to say that although it would reward dairy farmers for signing up with the Dairy with an I bill up to maybe $4,000 to $6,000, they are putting in about $40,000 of their own money to gain that. So it's more of a rebate on a small part. So thank you for allowing me to break protocol, and thank you, Senator Westrom, for bringing the bill we are currently talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Shostrom. Ms. Rudolph, if you would please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Brenda Rudolph, Raising a Farmer and Minnesota Farmers Union. This bill is extremely near and dear to my heart. I am a previous dairy farmer, and I have advocated over a decade for whole milk in schools. In 2019, the kids and I, my two kids and a friend are here, Everett and Vivian and Danny, and so in 2019, we created the Morrison County Milk Project, and when instead of listening to the doom and gloom, I said we need to do something different. And so we, with my little blue cooler with wheels on it, and I partnered with key community members and the grocery store, and we brought milk to every high school, 5 schools in Morrison County on all of their activities. It took us 8 weeks to get it done. It was during the polar vortex, so we had a lot of early or late starts and early releases and navigating that. And that proved that kids want whole milk. And so this is very important, and dairy will always be a part of my life, even though that we no longer milk cows, but dairy is very important. Being that I said that I have advocated for this over 10 years, this has shown my children to never stop, never always use your voice, and never be afraid, and stand up for what you believe in. And so thank you for bringing this forward, because we need whole milk in schools. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Peterson.
Thank you, Chair Putnam. Again, for the record, Hunter Peterson, Minnesota Farm Bureau Federation. Just want to provide our support for this bill as well. As an organization, we support providing healthy food and beverage choices for school-age children, including a variety of milk options. As this committee knows, milk provides essential vitamins, protein, and other nutrients that are necessary for healthy growth and development, and something that, as Senator Westrom said, the federal government has recently affirmed this as well by passing and signing into law the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act, which has restored additional milk options in school lunch programs. And this bill essentially aligns Minnesota in the same direction. And I think, too, it affirms our commitment as a state to providing healthy, nutritious drink options to young people in schools. And, Minnesota Milk and, they said their part, but of course, president of our organization, Dan Glessing, is a dairy farmer. One of our board members is a dairy farmer as well. And so, I think that this bill is definitely means something personal to them as well. So I wanted to share that, and appreciate Senator Westrom bringing the bill forward today.
Thanks. Members, questions or comments? Senator Kunish.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, can you tell me where this bill will go next?
Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kunish, I believe we'd refer it to education policy.
Senator Kunish.
Is that your committee?
Education policy, sorry, education policy or education finance?
I was told policy, but
Senator Westrom, that was what I was told, is that it would go to policy,
Okay.
Senator Kunish.
Right. Just to answer your question, no, I'm education finance.
Okay. Do you want it to, Representative Kunish?
Well, I
don't know if
believe
there's a
it's going to
fiscal
end up coming to me, and I have a few questions for
Okay.
you, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Senator Kunish, yes, of
Okay.
course.
So just full disclosure, I'm the chair of education finance, so I'm always looking at, how we're going to spend the taxpayers' money in the best way for our schools. And when I look at this bill, the school may offer flavored and unflavored, organic or non-organic, whole, reduced, low-fat, fat-free fluid milk, non-dairy beverages that are nutritionally equivalent to fluid milk to meet the nutritional values. So if you count up all those variables, it's 6 different varieties, at least maybe 8 varieties if it's organic or not organic, and then you have the non-dairy beverage, and then the flavored milks. So a couple of questions that I have. If we're talking about non-flavored milk, flavored milk, what would those be?
Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kunish, I think chocolate is the one I hear the most talked about. I do know there is some banana flavored and root beer flavored, but I think that's more rare. I think chocolate is primarily what I've heard, and I guess strawberry is coming to mind as I think about it, strawberry and chocolate, but maybe one of our testifiers could offer some additional.
That's good.
Mr. Chair, right now it is skim chocolate is the majority of what is served in school districts. And so this bill would then offer the school districts to make those decisions, budgets and things like that, and that to then be able to offer, a higher fat content chocolate, because it's the fat content that is the barrier.
Mm-hmm.
Senator Kunish.
Just FYI, chocolate milk is my very favorite milk.
And higher fat content too is better.
Now, I looked this up, and according to the National Institute of Health, best options are actually 1% or non-fat skim milk recommended to manage weight and cardiovascular risk, and this is for children, school-age kids. They're saying the better alternative is ultra-filtered milk, offers half the carbs and more protein than regular milk, and so I don't want that to become a conversation for our farmers, but it does help minimize those blood sugar spikes, and somebody mentioned type 2 diabetes. And then it says to avoid those flavored milks, much to my dismay, and any sweetened plant-based milks should also be avoided. And so my 2 questions are, first of all, Senator, would this allow schools to choose to or not choose to have this vast variety? I'm thinking about with the opportunity here for perhaps 6 to 10 different varieties. If a school district said, we're really concerned about having those because inevitably we're going to end up throwing out a lot of this. And so I'm wondering how you would imagine school districts are going to be able to make that choice.
Mr. Chair and Senator Kunish, the language is permissive with the may, as you've denoted. We would expect most school districts to expand to a whole milk option, but it does come down to some local control. And at that point, they can make those decisions. But right now, it's been a federal restriction, so they can't even offer 2% or whole milk. And there's some increasing studies that are coming back conflicting some of the stuff you were reading. And I'm not here to debate that. I'm just, as somebody that wants to educate on all sides of an issue, I think it's worth noting and looking at. It was ironic, we did some research around the time it was being signed federally, and these restrictions were put in place to stop obesity, and unfortunately obesity's gotten worse since then. And several of the studies, if not most of them, all concluded the more the students were drinking higher fat milks, ironically, they weren't as obese, and they weren't connecting that this is the reason, but they were just observing this outcome from their studies. And it does make a person have to ask the questions. But again, it comes back to the parents and the school districts making a lot of local choices on this. And yeah, I don't think they probably all have 6 or 8 options necessarily. But again, I'd defer to my witness who's worked on this quite some time as well, if you want to hear for more.
Senator Putman, may
Ms. Rudolph, sure.
Thank you, Senator Kish. As a parent that is, and also who thinks that milk is great, right? What it does is it offers more creativity to food services, and where right now that we're constricted of what fat, sodium, all the things that they're able to serve because of the food nutrition plans that they need to follow. Where being able to expand the fat content of milk, they're able then to expand that. I see where they would offer whole milk or 2% as an option, and then a 1% chocolate. Like that's more realistic of what would happen. The other part too is the alternative is then the alternative options is so that children that have food allergies are still able then to get those beverages that they're needing for their lunch without a doctor's note or, hurdles that are in place with that. The other thing too is like, absolutely, they could have like once a month, we're gonna have banana milk today. Or, it offers more creativity with their food too, and it provides food choices to kids. And where I'm a firm believer of food choices and that kids need to have options. I have a love-hate relationship with, nutrition plan that, everything has to be put on the plate, and then we're seeing food waste. But then again, we're wanting to ensure that kids are fed in the end, right? And so this opens that up, that food services and school districts are given the option then to expand then their beverages at their lunch.
Senator Kunish?
Thank you. We always want to give choice. Totally, I get that. And then my last thing, of course, is going to be around the cost. Those flavored milks are more expensive. The milk is, and the lunches and breakfasts that we feed our students are funded through the Department of Agriculture. And the Department of Agriculture will only reimburse up to a certain amount. And I think if I read this correctly, it's somewhere between 26.75 cents per half pint. Kindergartners get to drink for free. And then, the 26.7 cents reimbursement is for free and reduced kids, and then 27 cents for a regular milk. But then I'm seeing that those prices could go up as much as 50 cents per pint. And so there would be a cost here. And have you done any kind of a cost analysis of what this might cost to schools?
Senator Westrom.
Mr. Chair, Senator Kunish, I have not, but I guess I would restate the permissive nature of it. Talking to several schools and their lunch accounts or their food accounts, they would make the decisions themselves on what you know, what works in their school and what are the desires, because they make those choices to some degree now on what products they have in balancing nutrition, desire, demand, taste, and all of those. And so I guess we haven't gotten into that micromanagement, realizing that they'll have to make some decisions on this. But it comes around on choice, and then the other point is, what is the cost of wasted food?
Mm-hmm.
Because that is something I frequently hear from students and parents, and so I just think this is kind of opening that up and leaving more local decision-making, and including the students and their parents' desires, because some parents probably don't want their kids drinking chocolate milk, and others aren't as strict on it. Sometimes that's what's going to get somebody into drinking milk, and then eventually they might go to the whole milk, the 2%, the 1%. Cold milk would sure taste good right now with that cereal we just had, but anyways, I hope that answers your question, but I don't have a firm answer for you.
Senator Putman, may I?
Yeah, I'm sorry to
Okay,
start off.
that's- Yes, there will be a cost increase. Yes, absolutely, right? Again, that it's given the options for the school, but there are many school districts that are utilizing the MDA grants for bulk services to be able to serve bulk milk. So it's like a cafeteria style, and that they bring a glass and they dispense it themselves. So an option like that would bring costs down, because that you're buying in bulk in that way. That takes a lot of communication with food services, because again, there's another step that needs to happen because glasses need to be washed. But there's at least, I want to say 3, and Danny's school is one of them, that they have bulk dispensing, and they have seen an increase of milk consumption with those as well. So there are options to help navigate the increase of cost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Mr. Chair, I would just say, if I would ask you, because I do sit on education policy also, and so if this bill is coming to that, if you could do a little bit more research on that cost part of it, because we'll probably ask that. We need to be well-informed and understand, when we're making these kind of decisions, especially when we are seeing more and more cuts at the federal ag for schools, and then also in the Department of Education. We have to start, sort of weighing this. I know this is already permissible at the federal level, but it would really be good to have some of those numbers if you could do that research. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Kunish. Senator Westrom, do you have any closing statements?
Mr. Chair, real briefly, members, I just appreciate the indulgence. The whole idea of real whole milk, real foods, we've heard a lot of talk about that. DAIRI has been on that page with the real seal since I was a kid. And this is just a good, wholesome, real food that it's great to offer back to our students. Many didn't know it was this limited in our school districts, and not everybody's going to take it, but it's open for choice, open for options and creativity, as we've heard from our testifier. And who doesn't usually like a good cold glass of milk? And I urge your support.
Thank you, Senator Westrom. Would you, I got chastened last time by Senator Kupec, so would you like to move your bill to be passed and referred to education policy?
Mr.
Or should we have Kupec do it?
If you would offer the motion, I'd feel obliged, but either way, it's not going to affect probably his reelection, or maybe it wouldn't be that effective. I'm happy to, Mr. Chair.
So if you would, please, Senator Westrom, if you would.
Mr. Chair, I'd move the passage of Senate File 3687 be referred to the Education Policy Committee.
Senator Westrom moves that Senate File 3687 be passed to the committee and be redirected to the Committee on Education Policy. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Senate File 3687 has been passed and referred to the Committee on Education Policy. Members and folks in the audience, you know that in the new situation in which we're in, we have a hard stop at 5 o'clock every day. So we are rescheduling our conversation about feedlots with the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, and we were instead going to simply end our day with the final conversation with Senator Westrom's last bill. Senator Westrom's here to present for us now, Senate File 3686, Rotational Grazing Pilot Program Establishment and Appropriation. Senator Westrom, I believe you have an amendment.
Mr. Chair, I do, moving right along, Mr. Chair, I would move Senate File 3686 to be passed to the Environment Finance Committee without recommendation.
Oh, so before we get to that, Senator Westrom, you should present the bill and we get to hear the testimony and such, but I hear you have an amendment toward it as well.
I do, and I can present it. I'll incorporate those comments in briefly. I know we want to keep moving along.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Senator
Mr.
Westrom.
Chair, this Senate file promotes more rotational grazing opportunities for Minnesota livestock farmers and management of grasslands, both private leased properties or public properties that a farmer would have a lease on, and that's what my amendment will get to shortly. But in short, this would allow up to a $25,000 grant with a 50% match by the farmer applying for it, administered through the Department of Agriculture to help promote more rotational grazing opportunities for livestock farmers, dairy farmers, beef farmers, any other livestock that would be rotationally grazed in Minnesota, and help promote those opportunities for starting farmers or farmers that are expanding, maybe children. We heard earlier today about children coming back into the operation. They have to add something, bring some value or opportunity. This would be one of those steps that would be a small but a meaningful grant opportunity for expanding a livestock farm or getting one started. It might be as simple as somebody starting at 18 or 20 with 20 cows, and it's a cheaper way to feed those cows, raise those cows if you can get pasture land or grassland to let them pasture and have access for food instead of raising hay and baling it or buying corn. So this is just a very practical way to help our livestock farmers, and the money right now would be targeted to come out of the LCCMR Environmental Trust Fund, up to $2 million towards this program. And so, Mr. Chair, that's in short what this would do. My amendment in short would just clarify what we think is already permitted in this bill, but in the discussions with other groups, we want to make sure it's clear that it could be pasture land either that a farmer owns that they're expanding into, that they're establishing, or they already have a lease right, private or on public lands. And so that's what the amendment would do, is just make sure it's clear it could be public or private lands.
Thank you, Senator Westrom. Senator Westrom moves the A1 amendment. Any discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So now to further discussion of Senate File 3686 as amended. Let's head to some testimony from some of our friends. We got a number of folks who are virtual, so let's take care of our virtual friends first and then talk to folks who are here. So Ms. Gray, if you would please, could you unmute your microphone, turn on your camera, state your full name for the record, and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Hi, are you able to hear me?
Sounds great.
Thanks. Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Rachel Gray, and I currently serve as president-elect for Minnesota State Cattlemen's Association, and I'm here to testify in support of Senate File 3686. I own and operate Little Timber Farms in northern Minnesota, where we rotationally graze about 1,200 acres. We have 600 to 700 heifers on site, depending on the year. And I own and operate this business in conjunction with my dad, who's thankfully stayed after we transitioned, and then my son and even his kids. So we're, the third generation is still here. I'm the fourth, my son's the fifth, and we're hopefully raising the sixth generation here on this ranch. Grasslands are actively managed through rotational grazing, improving the landscape health, ecosystems, and really helping sustain not only our land and our soil, but our rural communities. Keeping cattle producers on the land is essential to both the environment and the economic success in rural Minnesota. However, there are some real barriers that people face when they want to adopt the rotational grazing practices. One of those can be high land prices, high rental rates, even that burden of expanding for existing or beginning farmers and installing those infrastructure systems, watering systems, fencing, that kind of thing can really be cost prohibitive for people. So I really appreciate this bill for those things. For ourselves in Little Timber Farms, we started rotational grazing in 2002, and it was really expensive to get started. We did increase our stocking rate. We've got data that goes back to 2002 to show really how much our soil has improved, our stocking rate has tripled, those kinds of things, and our water quality is better here. By using that rotational grazing infrastructure and watering systems, we really monitor and test our water quality, and it's much better than it was, 22 years ago. This pilot program can help address the challenges and supporting producers with the resources needed to establish rotational grazing systems, keeping cattle in the landscape while developing measurable conservation outcomes. So thank you for your time, and I'm definitely in support of this.
Thank you, Ms. Gray. Next up, Mr. Vanderpool. It's great to see you again. Thanks for having us at your farm. But for now, if you would please turn on your camera, unmute your microphone, state your full name for the record, and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, you sound great.
Okay. Thank you, Chair Putnam and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Josh Vanderpool. I'm from Kirkhoven, Minnesota, where we operate Pastures of Plenty Farm. We have 3 generations actively participating on the farm right now. Our farm is 320 acres. We primarily raise pork, grass-fed beef, and eggs. 100 acres of that is in rotational grazing that we finish beef for our markets with, and then we custom graze cow-calf pairs for a neighbor. First, I want to thank Chair Putnam, Senator Westrom, and Senator Kunish for coming out to visit our farm last August. It was very rewarding to be able to tour you around and talk about what we do on the farm. And I hope that our discussions about rotational grazing will help to inform you on your work on this legislation. Broadly, on behalf of Minnesota Farmers Union, I'm glad to lend our support to this idea. The rotational grazing initiative or incentive at MDA would help our farm and support more of our neighbors in experimenting with and implementing these practices. I'll make a couple points for why I think the idea of cost share for rotational grazing is worth pursuing. First, this would be helpful because these practices are expensive to implement, particularly when you're just starting out. You're maybe having to purchase some livestock and get some land, either renting or buying. And then after that, you're going to have to start setting up your rotational grazing system. That can require design, purchasing and installing fences, installing watering systems, addressing needs for shelter, and even establishing new perennial cover. It also requires more time and intensive management. That said, it's important to note these practices can pay for themselves over time. Our farm 20 years ago did receive federal equip funding to set up our perimeter fences and our water systems, and all that equipment is still operating today. So initial cost share is welcome, and we know that once that investment is made, it will be easier for farmers and ranchers to continue incorporating those practices going forward. Next, cost share is worthwhile because we know these practices have a public benefit. They help improve soil health, reduce nutrient loss, improve biodiversity, and make our farms more profitable. Specifically on our farm, we see where we have better water infiltration into our pastures, and any runoff, the water quality is in much better shape when it heads to the Minnesota River. Finally, I think this has the potential to help young farmers. Traditionally, livestock has been an entryway into farming for many young farmers. We got our start 30-plus years ago with hogs. However, consolidation in livestock production and livestock industry has reduced a lot of those opportunities. But the one good point right now is grass-fed meats and dairy. The market for that is expanding and growing, and so that creates a good opportunity for those people that are beginning farmers and who maybe don't have access to large amounts of capital to invest in big systems. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to testify, and I hope we can continue to work with you on this idea. I'd be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Vanderpool. Next up is Mr. Heine, who is also virtual. If you could, please, Mr. Heine, state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready, after you've unmuted your microphone and turned on your camera.
Hello, my name's Eric Hines. Thank you, Chair Putnam and members. No worries, it happens all the time. My wife and I own and operate Hoosier Ridge Ranch down here in Altura, Minnesota. We're up on the bluffs right above the Mississippi River. Josh and Rachel already hit a lot of the key points that I would have been talking about, so I'll try to keep my testimony short to keep the committee on time. We raise 100% grass-fed beef and rotationally graze them through a managed system here on our farm. We also grow a diverse rotation of crops, including Kernza. So it was great to hear from the Forever Green folks prior to this discussion. We also graze on our Kernza fields as well. That's one thing that they maybe did not mention, that Kernza is great for that as part of your rotation. I'm here to show my support for creating a grant program that would allow more farmers to get into the managed rotational grazing. At our farm, we graze 60 to 80 head a year between our own cattle and custom grazing as well. We direct market all of our own beef direct to consumers, and we keep them on perennial pastures for roughly 200 days out of the year. We graze cover crops for an additional roughly 60 days of the year, and then we will bale graze hay out on our cropland the remainder of the year. And so far, since starting this farm about 10 years ago, we have taken 60 acres of tillable land that has been historically corn, soy rotation and converted that into perennial pastures. As Josh was mentioning, these practices can pay for themselves, and we have found that having perennial pastures as part of our rotation on our acres, those are some of our most profitable acres, especially right now with the strong demand for beef. We also graze on some public lands. We have some DNR contracts where we graze some prairie land very near our farm here. And so really this whole program, I think, is really important for farmers, and especially with the cost of inputs rising and the way that the economics are around the farmers in Minnesota. I think rotational grazing and having beef as part of that rotation, whether they're your cattle or someone else's cattle that is grazing on your land, I think this would be an immense opportunity for farmers to help diversify their farms and become more resilient to the financial pressures that we are all facing. One big public benefit in our area, we are on the bluffs. Everything goes down to a watershed and eventually ends up in the Mississippi rivers. We are all on steep land in our area. So by converting some of our more marginal ground, especially on these hillsides, into pasture, we keep a lot of runoff from going down into those streams, keeping the chemicals and soils and everything out of those streams. And it's a huge benefit for the community, especially in our karst bedrock region here where we have a lot of nitrate issues. The more living things that you can have growing all the time, it's a huge benefit to the groundwater. We have a much better groundwater around our farm than a lot of neighbors do. And so with that, I just thank Senator Westrom for bringing this idea forward to support grazing. I hope it's something that the committee can continue to work on support. I'm happy to provide more input in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hines. Ms. Schreiber, if you'll please state your full name for the record and commence your testimony when you're ready.
Yes, thank you, Chair Putnam and members. For the record, my name is Laura Schreiber. I'm the Government Relations Director for the Land Stewardship Project. We're a grassroots member-led organization working to create a more sustainable and just farm and food system. So thank you so much to Senator Westrom for bringing this bill forward. LSP, we do both policy work and programmatic. So we have a soil health program that hosts field days. We support regional soil health hubs, really prioritizing peer learning. And also 2 summers ago, we had a farmer-led grazing program. So I mention all that because managed grazing has been one of the top things that we hear from folks of like wanting to get into, but knowing the barriers can be quite high, given the cost to either establish pasture, fencing, watering. So wanted to share strong support for looking into programs like this that can really help support more managed grazing. And I did want to note just one slight concern for us is looking at the funding right now coming from the Environmental Trust Fund, but excited to continue the conversation around how can we support more grazing looking forward. So thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Schreiber. Mr. Peterson, if you would please state your full name for the record, commence your testimony when you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Putnam. My name is Hunter Peterson, Public Policy Specialist with Minnesota Farm Bureau. Most of the points I was going to bring up have already been hit on, so I'll just say, this pilot program would help farmers and ranchers make investments that strengthen their livestock operations. But again, it's also beneficial for the environment and natural resources. And Senator Westrom can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this idea may have come from a similar piece of bipartisan legislation in Wisconsin that had support from farmers and environmental groups. And I'm sure, Mr. Chair, you would agree that we always want to be better than Wisconsin if we can be. So with that, thank you for the opportunity to testify and support. And yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Members, any comments or very brief questions, maybe true, false? Seeing none? Excellent. So, Senator Westrom, do you have any closing comments?
Mr. Chair, I don't. I think it's all been said. I'd appreciate your support.
Thank you, Senator Westrom. So just one point of clarification.
Move along.
Exactly. One point of clarification for members. We are very much excited about this project. We think it's a fantastic idea. We are enthusiastic about the bill. But as Ms. Schreiber mentioned, Senator Westrom is using an innovative funding technique that is beyond the scope of our jurisdiction. And for that reason, we are passing the bill and moving it forward without recommendation. That recommendation point has nothing to do with our enthusiasm or support of the project. It's just that the funding mechanism is not in our jurisdiction. So that's why we're proceeding in this way. So we're all clear on that one. So Senator Westrom, would you like to make this motion too? We can't give it to Kupec because he left.
Mr. Chair, actually, I'll toss it to Kupec. Being he felt a little slighted earlier.
He disappeared on us.
Oh, well then in the interest of time, I will renew my motion to pass Senate File 3686 to the Environment Finance Committee.
Without recommendations. We're all clear on that one? All right, cool. And we understand the rationale too, right?
Right.
All right, great.
And if we find money, we'll bring it back as an amendment, Mr.
Which sounds great. I'd be all on board. All right, folks, what's to Senator Westrom's motion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Senate File 3686 has been passed without recommendation, referred to the Committee on Environment. Folks, thank you so much for your patience today and your commitment, your dedication, your paying attention. We got a lot of stuff done. Coming up next on Monday will be a meeting of the Ag Committee again, and we will be meeting with our friends from the Future Farmers of America. So we'll have some kids here to tell us about the stuff that they're doing, and we're also going to hear from a diverse assortment of agriculture groups. Wednesday, however, will be a day with the Minnesota Department of Veteran Affairs, where we'll be discussing their policy provisions. Seeing no other business before the committee, we are adjourned.